Here we are. Thank you so much for being a part of Good Morning Kenya this far. Welcome to the program. My name is Samuel Njoroge. We indicated at the beginning that we shall be looking into a moment of constitutional reform with the country. As the BBI document was presented to the public yesterday, let's embark on the process. What can we expect now moving forward? And what shall we do to protect this document from the politics? And joining me to discuss that this morning is Honorable Dr. Adan Keynan. He is the Member of Parliament, Eldas constituency. Actually, also, he is the longest serving Member of Parliament from Northern Kenya. Mheshimiwa, welcome to the program.
Morning, viewers.
Right. And maybe you can begin by letting us know what you think about the BBI and the process this far.
Thank you. BBI, first of all, is a process that started with a handshake. But having said that, Kenya is a democracy. It's a very dynamic country.
Yeah. We
have a very rich history.
Yeah.
And let me take you back for a minute, the history of this country, where many people actually may not know.
Yes.
In 1895, Kenya was governed by the British East African Company as a private entity. In 1920, we became a colony and ownership changed, and Kenya once again was transferred to the colonial office in London. And in 1961, we got our own internal self-rule, and in 1963, we got our independence, and since then we have had successive governments, and the underlying issue was to come up with a document, a constitution, a man-made document that was going to unite the different communities of Kenya,
yes,
the different regions of Kenya, and a document that will capture the aspirations, the thinking, and both the socio, economic, and political thinking of the people of Kenya. And that is what we have been struggling actually to do over time. If you look at again our Kenya, first of all, as a member of the civilized nations, again, immediately after our independence, there was a clamor for change, constitutional change, and you know what happened?
Exactly.
From 1969 until again 1982, so that attempted coup, and then 1991, and then finally 2010 constitution.
Yeah.
So this clamor for constitutional change has always been there. But I think what we need to demystify is constitutional change is a very dynamic, progressive process. It's not a one-day event.
Yeah.
That is why even America right now, they're debating. It's one of the oldest democracies. They're debating about what to do with their Supreme Court. They're debating about what to do with their Electoral College. They're debating about what to do with their governance system. Because this is something that you adjust in line with the realities of the day.
It's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process. And the realities change. That's why Kenya is not an exception. And that's why this particular process, the handshake was the culmination.
Yeah.
The two erstwhile protagonists actually came together in the name of the handshake, and in their own wisdom, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga came together and realized Kenya was more important than any particular individual or individuals or groups.
Yeah.
So in their own terms, they contextualized something that was called the handshake, and it's the handshake that gave way to the building.
To the BBI.
Yes. But the BBI is not purely a product of the handshake alone. It's a product of the many years of aspiration of the people of Kenya. And even for those who are around in August 2010 when we promulgated the current constitution, the message was, this is not a 100% document. This was a document that had so many deficiencies, so many lacunas, and therefore there will be provision to improve on it in the years to come.
As time goes. I think the approval rate was 67%.
67%.
All right.
And even there are particular sections that were identified at that particular time that were not actually resonating well with the thinking of the people of Kenya.
We were calling them contentious.
Contentious issue. But the thinking at that particular time by the framers and even the leadership, when I was in Parliament, was let's use the opportunity then to pass what was good, and we'll get another time to improve on the document. And that's exactly what happened, and that is what actually the current BBI
the documents now we have
attempts to address.
Mheshimiwa, maybe because the Kenyans who are now wondering what will happen after this, the much awaited for report is out here. Does it mean that we shall read it and recommend additions to it, subtraction? What will happen?
You know, luckily, again, if you look at the current constitutional structure, public participation is so fundamental in our governance structure. This document has been prepared by a technical team. The technical team, this is the second document. What I got yesterday and what His Excellency the President and the former Prime Minister actually told the public is that this opens a national conversation. That national conversation, and there are three aspects actually to the report, and this is one thing that actually we need to demystify.
Yes.
There are policy issues that will be dealt with exclusively by the government. Those policy issues do not require legislation. They can come in the form of sessional papers. They can come in the form of policy pronouncement. They can come in the form of changes in the way administrative. So this,
especially in various sectors,
in the various sectors,
like agriculture, manufacturing, health.
Yes, this will be done by the government, and it's something that even this morning they can go ahead and make the necessary provision.
Yes.
That is the first aspect that this document recommends. And those policy gaps must have been identified in maybe the education sector, in the agricultural sector, in the economic sector, in on the gender issue, so many other issues that really touch on the lives of Kenyans. That is what we expect, and there is a timeline, and this must be as a result of the informed interrogation by, you know, this committee went around.
Yes.
They went to every part of the Republic of Kenya, collected the views of the people of Kenya, and therefore they know the thinking of the ordinary Mwananchi actually on the ground.
How long is this dialogue likely to happen?
This is the bit I'm coming to. There is a time frame. Then the second bit on this particular report is the legislative changes. This legislative change, again, because we have parliament, it will go through its own timeline. Parliament will determine. Of course, I can't speculate because Parliament is a deliberative house, and therefore, ultimately, when something is placed before the house, there are structures, there are ways, there are rules, and there are traditions, and that is what actually it must conform to. The other bit is the constitutional amendment. The constitutional amendment actually has its own time frame. You know, the bills must be contextualized. We have a draft. It goes to, you know, the necessary, this is now public participation. It goes to, you know, we have to get the signatures, and then later on it has to go to the county assemblies, come back to Parliament. After Parliament now it goes to IBC. There's a process. There's a process,
definitely.
So what right now I think, as of today, we have a document. Nobody is saying this document is perfect. It has given an opportunity for national conversation.
All right.
There are areas that I think, in my opinion, must be clarified. The areas that must be clarified.
Set the record straight.
Because the framers had certain things in mind. They can't contextualize everything. And those areas now is what will inform the ultimate outcome of the document that we'll be presenting to the Kenyans in a plebiscite.
When Kibaki was coming into power back in 2002, 2003, he promised a constitution within the first 100 days in office. But that was not possible. He delivered the constitution 8 years down the line. How do we protect the BBI from that and everything that ensued courtesy of constitutional reform back then?
You know, we always say man proposes and God disposes. This is a God-fearing nation. And therefore, as human beings, what we are trying to do is this, I believe, in my opinion, this referendum must take place before the next general election. Yes. That is my opinion. Inshallah, that's what, as a Muslim, we always say, inshallah, you know, this is our proposal, this is our desire, and God has also his own plan.
Yes.
Having said that, we are all in agreement that there is need to interrogate this document as soon as possible so that Kenyans can get the ultimate constitutional gains that they have been yearning for over the last decades. So in my opinion, hoping that all goes well, this should be in place before the next general election.
And in any case, Chiraito Murungi, at some point, a Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister with the Kibaki government said that Kenyans should be patient because even if the government, Kibaki's government, had promised a constitution in 100 days, they did not mean 100 consecutive days following each other.
And then the difference on this particular document is the S2, you know, the groups who have been on different sides over the years are now together. The majority of them are now together. And therefore, even the national conversation will be on issues, particular issues that have been identified. And ultimately, I think there will be the national desire to have these documents pass before the next general election. As soon as possible. Yes.
Well, we need to take a short break, but when we return, some of the things we shall be looking at include the state of the referendum bill, how far has it come, and also we'll be looking into your queries online, so keep them coming in. #Good Morning Kenya. My name is Samuel Njoroge. See you after this break.